Hi, my name is Dennis Siri. I am Executive Director and founder of the New York City Independent Film Festival, Independent in Spirit, International at Heart, and this is the New York City Independent Film Festival Meet the Filmmakers podcast. Join us while we meet this year's filmmakers. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, we're here today with Clayton. Thank you for joining us, Clayton. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Clayton Favor. I am a year and a half out of film school at Marymount Manhattan College. I'm originally from Wisconsin. I grew up there and was born in California. I came here about 5 years ago to try and start working in film and to do some projects in a city where independent film is alive and bustling. And now I work at Weill Cornell Medical College, and I do a lot of their AV tech and educational productions for the anatomy lab. So a lot of my background has just kind of been in small, short film style indie projects. And I pretty much just try to fill my time on weekends and whatnot and continue to partake in those kind of projects.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for joining us and welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so what made you want to be a filmmaker? How did that thought process happen?
It's a combination of I would say almost like a setup by my family, who's always just been really interested in movies and especially from the consumer perspective. So it was the preferred pastime in my dad's house, in my grandfather's house, and just absolute collectors watching things constantly. My grandpa really loves to collect really old movies, classic Blu-rays. And then a catalyst was when I was 8 years old. I was lucky enough where through a family connection, we actually had a connection to Sony Pictures Animation. And I, at 8 years old, along with my brother, who's 3 years my senior, got to tour the production of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs because the directors happened to be in good standing with my uncle. So that tour, when I walked into the just preview rooms and seeing the in progress animation was a big catalyst and being like, oh, I want to do this. I think I want to do this. And I'm lucky enough to have had that moment at 8 years old where it kind of set me on a path to like, now how can I achieve this in rural Wisconsin?
All right, okay, cool. All right, so how long have you been doing this and how many movies have you made?
So this is actually from start to finish my only full, well, I would say full project. I've definitely made other shorts, but this is the one that was like considered like full credit, and we went the full distance in terms of finding crowdsourcing and bringing on like producers and like just having a fully more fledged, more filled out production team. But in terms of shorts, I've worked on numerous ones of my own, about 4 or 5. And then very consistently, I fill in on sound roles and get involved with numerous other shorts and web series. So I've worked on about 10 of those just intermittently when time allots throughout the years.
Okay, cool. And when you first told your family, it sounds like you had their support, but what did your family and friends say when you said, okay, I'm really going to do this. I'm going to pursue it and this is going to be my career. How did
There
that work
was
out?
Yeah, it was a mixture of it was excitement from my grandparents and my parents especially, and then obviously a little bit of timidness. But the general idea was as long as you can support yourself out there, like you can do whatever you want in your life. They didn't really they weren't too worried about that, and I had laid out a good enough plan where I knew where I wanted to go, and they saw that I was taking the steps. So I'm glad that I was able to do some things that instilled some confidence in them, because it is a bit disheartening when especially having family in California. It's like, don't you want to go someplace safer that still has movies and you have family nearby? And I was like, no, I'm going across the nation from everybody else. So it was I'm lucky enough to have a ton of support for it and a lot of excitement whenever I've worked on stuff. So it's been great.
Is it really unsafe in California?
No, no, no.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just you said someplace safer, and I was like, well, no.
Yeah. They were like, oh well, you'll have like a support system out there. And I was like, but that's not college. Like I want to go someplace where there is no support system, where you can just kind of tough it out on your own. So that's why I ended up coming here.
Where's here? Are you in New York?
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Okay. And do you find New York is unsafe?
No, God,
No,
no,
not at all. Yeah.
not at all.
Right. All right. Um, I guess being in New York and also having your college behind you, you have your tribe, your group, your filmmaker tribe,
Mhm.
village that you have. Do you have that around you?
Yeah, especially just pillars. I feel like you try to collect each other throughout school, where it's like I need at least one prominent person within every department that I can really start depending on. And I felt really lucky that I found a lot of those people during my time here. And although, post grad, a lot more people are traveling around and whatnot. And I graduated at the time of the strike, so a lot of people moved around to do different news production teams or stuff like that. But a lot of people have kind of found their way back into the city. And so, especially now, more than ever, the list has been growing, and I do have those people around me.
Good. Good. You need them.
Need them.
Yep. All right. So this movie, what made you decide to do this movie, this film?
Yeah, so this was actually for a senior thesis that I ended up doing my junior year just because of the schedule that I was graduating on. And the theme, like a lot of colleges in that kind of era, was I did this in 2022, kind of finished it. And then the theme around that was breaking out and finding freedom. And I feel like post COVID, that was kind of where a lot of colleges and especially like creative programs were kind of leaning into, like, how can we create stories based around like kind of breaking out of the mold again and like refining your place, and but also dealing with the repercussions of that. So I had the idea to deal with something that not only people feel is isolating them in like a grand scale and isolating them from other people, but maybe also isolates them from themselves. And that's where the idea of depersonalization comes up, and derealization. And I had friends that had experienced that, and then some of my own experiences as well. And then that was just kind of where it jumped off, where I'm like, it also gives me a good way forward to dabble in animation, which I was really interested in. I'd really only done live action up to that point. So I thought it would be a really good way to not while trying something new, to complete the end of my college on like a really high note, and with something that I haven't done before.
Okay, cool. All right. So next question, I kind of combine two questions together. What was the hardest part and what was the most fun part?
The hardest part was the animation. I think, especially at the college level, you're gonna find trouble with the animation. I was really lucky to be introduced to an incredible animator that took over some of the more movement, like higher movement, more dynamic sequences, and then just making sure that we raise enough money to get these people paid properly, and then learning animation on my own. I had set out at the beginning where I said, if I can't find an animator that I can also pay properly, then I'm just going to have to learn 2D animation. And I was really lucky that they were willing to take kind of a management role over even me and show me the ropes to a certain degree. I started taking every class that was offered in my school. So it was a great time. And then opposite of the hardest moment, what was the other part of the question?
Fun. What was the most fun part?
The most fun was that this was a really cool opportunity. The way the scheduling works, by my junior year when I did this project, we had not really had full in-person classes for that much longer. And so we kind of missed out, my class specifically, on working with each other in these kind of intimate settings and learning each other's strengths. So it was really fun to assemble a team just in that moment, based on kind of what we had seen in the past 4 or 5 months of working on projects with one another, and maybe just in the last semester. And I think having that opportunity to meet each other and then kind of learn all together on like a more high stakes project was an incredibly fun learning experience. And we also went outside of institution for actors and stuff. So it was one of the first experiences of, working with people outside of that realm of safety. And that's always a great time, because then you get to learn more, not only about other programs, but like how the other people operate, and how people in the world are going to operate, especially, which is important towards the end of college.
Good. Good. All right. So this is more of a genetic question. You as a filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
are you the type of filmmaker that sits there You finish the film, you work at it, you obsess over it, you say, okay, this is done. That baby's out the door. Or you're the kind of filmmaker that sits there and always looks at your projects and go, when I get the money and the time, I'm going to redo that. Which
I
one?
feel, yeah, I feel like especially towards the end of this project, I had to keep slapping myself on the hand and saying, just let it go. You know, just start submitting. Like, it's okay to leave things behind. Because like while you want to optimize every aspect of every single story, you know, you really cross that threshold into being not healthy, because then you find yourself, you're not even planning other things, you know, like you're going back and just staring at this. So I have found that I have been able to, after a very long process, be able to roll back into other projects. But this one definitely brought out that side of me for like one of the first times where I just couldn't let it go forever, especially with animation being so accessible and it's right there. Like you can edit things so easily. It's frame by frame. It's not like you have to go out and film more. So that was a fun learning experience too, because it's just knowing when to let it rest and to just enjoy things. Because if you're doing that all the time, you can't enjoy it all the time with the people that you made it with. No matter how much fun you're having while working on it.
Okay, okay. So now in the indie film world, we all know we're not going to become wealthy and buy jets and mansions on the money we make in the indie film world. So what does success in the indie film world look like? I'm not talking about if you make it, you know, Disney hires you or something. That's totally different. So what does success look like in the indie film world?
In the indie film world, I think success, the a really high tier would be to be able to live a life where this is all you do. And that's even at the most basic form of like, my needs are met and I can have a family and I can still do this on a day-to-day basis. That's the greatest goal. But I think that kind of the underlying goal is that you're always not only challenging yourself and making sure that your creative brain stays focused as success, but also the idea that you're always meeting people to make new things with. Because I think film is social at the core of it, whether you're watching it or whether you're making it. And if you constantly find yourself meeting these new people, then you'll always have new experiences, and new experiences should always breed new stories that you can tell. And so I think success is just looking around every once in a while and noticing that the scenery keeps changing, and that's okay. And it's nice, you know?
Okay, cool. All right, my last question. So somebody comes along and goes, Uncle Clayton, I'm going to be a filmmaker just like you. What would be that conversation? What did that look like?
I would be excited, especially I have nieces and nephews at the age right now. I would say, as soon as you want to, like, let's work together. Let's do it. Because for me, it's another, not only like a little helper, but somebody that, like, again, is a new person that you can make new stories with. And I think as long as the reality of the world is you have to take care of yourself. But even if you were working the most mundane 9 to 5, there's a couple hours, even if it's just a couple hours within a week here or there, that you can do something movie related. And even if that's where you find the extra flex time, or you disappear for 30 minutes and maybe you're filming little goofs and gags or skits or something, then I think it's never a wasted moment as long as you're enjoying it. So I support it 100%. It's another collaborator.
Okay, great. I mean, that's it for questions. I mean, any conversation, any last words you want to tell people out there or anything?
I really just want to say thank you for including me on the program this year, just in general, to you and the people you work with and everybody watching. I hope you enjoy every single movie that's on it. I haven't gotten a chance to peek around too much, but I'm excited to attend and to see all the good projects.